Welcome to the Monona Community Media's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your league moderator, Jim Kane. I would like to introduce Keri Robbins, running for one of the three-year terms for the Monona Grove School Board. To begin with, you'll have 3 minutes to give an opening statement which answers the following question. What educational, vocational, or civic experience do you have which qualifies you for this office? And why are you running for the Monona Grove School Board?
Good, thank you. Thank you, Jim. And I'm running for Monona Grove School Board because I feel like this is a great time to get involved in the district. We have a strong educational program, great families and great community members interested in keeping it one of the best in the state. My background is that I've worked full-time at the University of Wisconsin-Madison for 19 years. I have master's degrees in educational administration with also an emphasis in marketing. My undergraduate degree is in journalism and English, and I feel like the kind of training that I had in my educational background helps me think about complex problems and all different kinds of research and information that's needed to make a smart decision for the long term. I've been working as a marketing project manager, and to be successful in that job, you have to use limited resources wisely and get the job done within deadline and under budget. And I've been very successful doing that and working with fun people and collaboratively so that we can accomplish our goals together. I feel like those qualities will help me be an effective member of the school board.
Thank you. Now I will present you a series of questions where you will have 2 minutes to answer. 1. What do you see as the major budget challenges for the district now that the governor's 2-year budget proposals are being worked on by the state legislature?
One of the challenges that we face is that the resources needed to educate our children are very limited, and without the resources in place, we need funds, we need great teachers, we need facilities to support them in 21st century learning. As there's more pressure on those resources, communities need to come together and advocate to make sure that we are doing what we can to make sure that our kids have what they need, and our faculty and staff. I think the governor's proposal is going to be difficult for public schools. I'm sorry to see any time that resources are shifted away from public schools into the private sector. I do not believe that the voucher program is the right thing for us. I would like to keep our public schools strong by devoting the resources that we need, and to think about how we as a community, in particular in Monona Grove, where we have people who care about education, want our schools to be strong, how can we support our kids and the families in the future? I mean, another reason that I'm interested in how we support our schools is because people in the past have made schools wonderful for my children and our families now, and I think we have a real important need to do that into the future, and to make sure that people moving into our district and kids in the future have these same opportunities and even better opportunities than what we have today. I'm also concerned about the sustainability of funding models from one year to the next, and how challenging it is to not know what resources are going to be in place. So a lot of the things about the biennial budget concern me right now, particularly the uncertainty of what the per pupil amount is going to be and when we can start making better plans into the future. But I am interested in engaging in that, and I feel like even though it's challenging times, there are lots of people who want to work on this and really care about our kids. So it's important for us to stay engaged in this despite the challenges that we have, and also in some ways because of them.
Thank you. Standardized testing and Common Core have become complex and controversial issues for school districts. If given flexibility, where do you believe the district should focus its attention on this issue?
I'm glad there's a question about standardized testing and Common Core, because I think those are terms that are confused a lot in the public. I think sometimes Common Core has been used as a brand name to mean something that it really doesn't. It's been about basic competencies that we want our children to have. And I'm sorry to see that it's become politicized in a way that I wish it hadn't. So I support Common Core standards. I think that we are doing right by our kids to have them educated in a way that's consistent from district to district across the state. I think that it's really important to make sure that as we have families in transition, I mean, it's very rare for one family to stay in place for 50 years. So we need to make sure our kids are mobile and that transitions between districts can help them succeed and that we know where they're at. So the other part of this question was about standardized testing, and one of the concerns I have as a parent of 2 little kiddos who have taken a lot of standardized tests the last few years is that we are spending an inordinate amount of time on standardized tests, and I think it detracts from what our teachers can do in the classroom to meet the day-to-day learning needs of kids when so much resource is dedicated to the actual testing process. If there was some flexibility, I wish we could spend less time on standardized tests, use a few that are meaningful and that we can agree have standardization across multiple districts, but not get into more tests or additional measures in the name of accountability, but that really don't help us understand more richly what our kids are learning and what their needs are for the next challenges that they need.
Thank you. How do you envision keeping yourself up with multiple constituencies in 2 different communities, including the parents, teachers, administrators, but also the taxpayers who are not part of these other groups, but to whom you still have to answer?
Oh, that's the best part of this question, is all the multiple constituents that are part of our community. The background that I have in marketing project planning, but also in volunteer service, I think really will help me to keep in mind all the different stakeholders that we have and to engage with everybody. My volunteer service in Cottage Grove hinged in large part around being president of our parent-teacher organization for 2 years, and also for 3 years serving as chair of our fall festival. And to be successful in those roles, I really had to work closely with everyone involved in the community, which included the people that you just mentioned in that question. It's our own families, kids in the schools, and it's also other community members who don't currently have kids in the schools and who are running businesses and providing all the other community services that are needed. My background in listening to people, hearing multiple ideas, thinking about how to make something work when there's lots of different perspectives and viewpoints that need to be considered and represented in the final decision is a strength that I have, because I've often been put in charge of making something work when there's a lot of different ways that it could be done. And thinking about how to come to a solution that multiple people will be satisfied with and feel like there's ways to compromise and there's good outcomes for people who are valued in the different perspectives they bring, and a diverse range of views is super important to make sure that we're thinking and looking ahead and being smart about what we're planning. I also think that when you involve multiple people in the community, you do a better job of long-term planning. You can't just look at the immediate needs, but you also want to think about people whose interest is for 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now. Those are different perspectives that people have, and if you can include them in your decision making and ask up front, reach out before you're already down the path of a particular idea, I think you'll do better off. And that has been my experience in the past, is to first ask people for help. I'm open to feedback. I'm wanting to have a good outcome, so I'm used to changing details so that we can be more inclusive and thinking about all the different audiences and their needs. Which in our district is going to include a range of learning styles and learners and families who might be either struggling in our education system or very, very high ability kids. I think there's a wide range of students and people in our district. It's going to be important for us to continue to think about all of them. And that's always been my history of including lots of different data, qualitative and quantitative, when we're making decisions. I feel like it's a strength, and I would like to continue doing that in this role as well.
What personal qualities distinguish you in this election, and why do you believe this will help make you the best representative on the board?
Well, one of the personal qualities that I am proud of is that I have a lot of energy and enthusiasm for digging into things when I feel it's an important goal. And in this case, there's nothing more important to me than education and thinking about the future prosperity of our kids, which means preparing them for their futures, whether that's in college or career immediately after school. this is an area where we really need people who care about this and who want to spend their personal time. I feel like I bring that to the table. I think I'm well suited for this because I'm a person who can make a commitment to something, see it through, know that there's hard work involved, be willing to put in the time and energy, and most of all, I think a personal quality that I'm known for is staying positive and being willing to tackle hard decisions but come out of those conversations still with friendly relationships and knowing that there's respectful exchange, that we can disagree on specific ideas but feel really good that people coming to work on these things are good-hearted, they want good outcomes. We might be different in how we would approach it, but the reason to get into this is to want something good to happen in our community. I'm really coming to this more as a positive person, looking to have a good influence on this, not because I think anything's broken or bad and needs to be fixed, but more because we have a very good system in place right now and I'd like to keep it strong. So my personal qualities of being positive, being willing to put in the work, listening to different people, I think will help me continue to be a quick learner and contribute what I can to the district.
What one issue do you want to commit your passion and focus on during the next term on the board?
The issue that I think is most exciting right now in the district is the idea of our long-range facilities planning. I'm lucky to be on that committee right now. We have a great group who's looking ahead to the future needs of the district, both in physical plant and configuration of the schools. I think we're extremely fortunate to have some just wonderfully designed buildings. We also need to look ahead to, as population growth occurs, what are the future needs? I think that's the biggest issue, and I'm excited to be part of that. It's part of what I think the responsibility of the board is to have vision and leadership, be looking ahead to the future, thinking about how we work with the entire community, Monona, Cottage Grove together, thinking about where our kids are going to be and what buildings and how we give them opportunities to know each other and feel that they're part of the Monona Grove School District. I'm excited about that because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we have great things to offer the kids. And this is an area where we as a board can really make a difference. So it's the one I'm most looking forward to committing my own personal energy and ideas to.
Thank you. At this time, you have 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you. As a closing statement, I'd like to just reiterate that I think I'm very well qualified and prepared to serve and to make you proud of the job I would do on the Monona Grove School Board, so that we have continued to support our schools, our teachers and our kids have the resources they need. We've been thoughtfully listening to the community. I feel like I can do that based on my past experience, listening and bringing people together and problem solving that represents lots of different stakeholders so that we are making good decisions for the future together. And I ask for your vote because I know that I would work hard, be smart, stay committed, listen to feedback, and most of all, enjoy this hard work because it's important work and makes a true difference to the future generations who will come through the Monona Grove School District.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I want to thank you for joining us. I'd also like to thank the viewers for watching and remind everyone that Election Day is Tuesday, April 7th. Please vote. If you would like more information about voting procedures or obtaining a copy of the League's Candidates Answers publication, call the League office at 232-9447 or visit our website at lwvdanecounty.org. On behalf of the Monona Community Media and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.